exploring alternative building solutions. That is, building houses and structures from other materials that are not cement, bricks, or sand like we do traditionally. So one of the most popular alternatives right now is building houses out of shipping containers or out of steels and roofing sheets. For instance, this is an interior of a steel structure. If I just show you the video of this interior and I don't tell you that this is actually a steel structure, you think that this is an interior of a regular house that was built with cement, bricks, and sand. So over in the city of Lagos, I found a company called container.bulds.nigeria, and the owner of the company was kind enough to invite me to one of their sites that they were constructing. Now, I was happy to show you guys this site because it's 90% complete. They are just putting finishing touches, installing the air conditioning systems and one or two other things, and they're about to clean the place up. Then they will hand it over to the client. So I spent time with him asking him some questions if this is truly a viable building solution to building with cement, sand, and bricks. Nice to meet you. What's the name, sir?
Emmanuel.
Manuel. Okay. What do you? I know what you do, but for the sake purpose of those that are watching, what do you do?
My name is Emmanuel Ajay. I build with shipping containers.
Okay.
So, studied history and international relations at Redeemers University. So people are always shocked when I tell them that.
In fact, I'm just hearing that now. So me too, I'm shocked. I'm showing the list of those that are shocked.
Yeah.
So first of all, why container builds? Why building house with containers instead of regular materials? Like, what is that thing that caught your attention to this kind of?
All right. So right from time, I've actually been interested in building, but not the contemporary building. I don't know if you watch this show, Grand Designs.
Yes.
So it's a building. It's a show on BBC where they show how houses are built, like alternative building solutions. And that's what I wanted to bring into the Nigerian market. And with my background in history, not even in construction, I had to look for a niche for myself that would also make me stand out.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why I resorted into using shipping containers, which I picked an interest in while doing my research online.
Every business like this that people don't do much of be challenging. So what have been the challenges that basically you faced with using shipping containers to build here in Nigeria?
I think the number one challenge would be the logistics involved.
Okay.
Yes, getting the containers cleared, making sure that they're not stolen. Because there's a lot of stolen shipping containers.
People steal shipping containers?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I'm surprised.
So just making sure, vetting that the containers have the proper documents.
Okay.
And the logistics involved. So when I say logistics, so bringing the container from the port down to
the location.
You have issues where we encounter touts that would request certain informal levies from us, which you have to pay. So that also affects the costing sometimes. And then there are certain areas that trucks cannot maneuver in Nigeria.
Yes, of course.
So getting containers to certain areas like that is also a hassle. And then building on the beach, because we have built on the beach and you can't have trucks move on the beach.
Yeah.
So we literally have to drag...
You drag the containers by hand?
No, we use an excavator.
An excavator, okay.
To drag the containers on the sand to the location, which is also time consuming, but it's
worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's worth it at the end of the day.
So the first time I saw you when I got in here, today is the first day we are meeting, we'll be talking on the phone. So my first exclamation was, wow, you look so young. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing this since 2018.
Okay.
So graduated in 2016. 1 year youth service.
Yeah, of course.
Then I didn't want to do the regular 9 to 5 like I said earlier. So I had to carve a niche for myself. So while doing my research and looking for a way to enter the construction space, that's how I just fell in love with shipping containers. Because there's always this wow factor that comes with it. So you see a container structure from the exterior, but you come in and it's a different expectation from
bro, you don't even need to say it. Because even when I came in here, when I entered through these doors, like I was expecting when I come in, I will see the container walls. I mean, look at this place. It looks like a 5-star hotel in here. So I think there's this wow factor when people see things that are abnormal or are different from the norm that we are used to.
So that's what I love. It's just giving you that shock that, wow, how were you able to do this?
Yeah, and I also looked at your Instagram. You've done a lot of very, very fantastic builds like that I've seen. By your estimate, how many containers have you built by now?
I don't think I can count right now. I have to go back and check, but we've built quite a number.
Quite a number of them, yeah?
Yeah, quite a number.
How is the demand like?
So, to be honest, the demand is high, but the spending power is low. So, if I show you my DMs right now, if my phone was on flight mode right now, the calls I get a day, I get a lot of calls, people inquiring that, oh, they want to do this, but the truth is, it used to be affordable.
Okay.
But it's no longer as affordable as it used to be just because of inflation.
And
I started in 2018, we used to buy like a 40-foot container for like 500K, 400K. Right now, one 40-foot container is going for 1.9 million. You're shocked as well.
I don't understand. An empty container?
Just an empty.
Those things that used to be at the wharf and they will rot off.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, it's getting a bit more costly to build with shipping containers, but if you can afford it, it's worth it.
It's worth it?
It's definitely worth it because it's a unique structure. There's no area you go, you see a shipping container structure that's been modeled up into, let's say, a restaurant or an office space, and you'd be invited to go in.
Yeah.
So that's one of the advantages of building with shipping containers. The time to build is faster.
Okay.
So let's say your concrete structure takes you about 4 months to build, 3 months to build. With shipping containers, a month is up.
A month you're done?
Yeah.
Wow.
A month, 6 weeks.
You're done.
Just depending on the complexity of the structure.
Of the structure, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not forget, when I came in here, this particular structure, from outside, I thought it was shipping containers. So let's not forget to add that you can actually construct not just with shipping containers. You actually said you can use roofing sheets.
No, so it's steel. It's
steel.
A steel structure.
Okay.
So, like I said.
No, hold on, sorry. A steel structure is different from a shipping container.
Yes.
Okay.
So a steel structure is built with using H-beams or I-beams to build, and then you join them together. I'll share pictures with you. So
yeah, sure.
Post them for people to look at what I'm talking about. Okay. So, like I said, I'm an alternative building preacher. So I don't like block. I don't like concrete. I don't like cement. So the only time we use that is in the process of doing our foundations. So that's when we use them.
Okay, you use cement and block to mold the foundation.
Yes, that's what we use.
And raise it up.
Yes.
Okay, then the containers or the steels come after.
Yes.
Okay.
They sit on that.
They sit on it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So we build with shipping containers and steel. Anything alternative building, you call me. So we're currently inside a steel structure.
Yes, bro. If I show somebody the picture of this place, and I don't tell somebody that this is not a concrete structure, they will never believe it.
Exactly. So that's why I said the wow factor that comes with it.
Yeah.
So it's a steel structure. We cladded the exterior with long span aluminum sheets. In between the sheets and our interior walls, so we use plasterboards for the interior walls. There's insulation that goes in between that. So we use rock wool for our insulation. So there are different forms of insulation. You have rock wool, you have earth wool, you have spray foam insulation.
Spray foam?
Yes.
Okay, this insulation now is, you put it between the steel and the...
So it comes in between the plasterboard and the external cladding.
Okay.
Do you understand? So it's in between the internal cladding and the external cladding.
Yeah.
So that's where you have the insulation.
Okay. And what's the purpose of this?
So it prevents heat from coming in.
Coming into the...
And it can also be used to control the temperature within the space.
Don't we have situations where sometimes the insulation inside maybe it becomes, the heat affects it, and then it starts affecting the wall inside.
All right. So what was the first thing I told you to do when you came in?
I should touch the wall. And
Touch the external wall. How hot was that?
It wasn't.
What was the difference between the external
There
wall?
was really no difference.
There was no difference?
No, as in, if you touch it, like
I'm saying the temperature. What was the difference between the temperature outside and when you touch the wall inside?
The wall inside was cool, no?
Exactly. So that is what insulation does for you. If there was no insulation, the wall inside would be hot.
No. Well, my question is this: does it get to a time, or have you ever had experience that gets to a time where the rockwood material that you use in between for the insulation becomes too hot, or it receives so much heat that it starts giving up?
No.
And then
no.
Okay, it doesn't happen.
So it's made out of fiberglass.
Okay.
So it's not a material that expires. So it's not like you have an expiry date that after so years
It's gone.
It's going to degrade.
Okay. I see.
That's not the issue. So whatever we build, because it's an alternative building solution, you have to build it to last.
To last, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So,
Okay. Now, one of the other issues, or one of the other questions that once I started seeing your Instagram, I saw all these fine structures. Fine, they all look nice. Now, the other question that came into my mind was, how sustainable is this? Does it get to a time where these containers or the steels, or maybe it's a steel structure like this one, or it's a container built like you usually do, does it get to a time where it starts rusting and all of that?
Yes, so let me put it like this to you. In the process of building with steel, we coat the steel with anti-rust.
Okay.
That's the first coat.
All right.
So there are different forms of anti-rust. We have marine paint as well. So marine paint is what like the shipping lines use. So your ships are painted with marine paint, which is another form of anti-rust. So that is what we use to paint our steel. Do you understand? So that is what makes it last long.
Okay.
Now, shipping containers are made out of core 10 steel, which is bulletproof grade steel. So it's not normal steel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not the normal steel that you see on the road. No. Do you understand?
Oh, that's a new one for me.
Exactly. So they are built to last, like I said. These things are built to withstand the harshness of the sea.
Yes.
Do you understand? So before we get these containers, they've already made the journey on salty water. So you know seawater is salty.
Very salty.
Which is corrosive.
Yes.
Exactly. So they are built to last. That's what I want you to understand. So
Now I get it. How long can a structure like this last before it probably requires maintenance or something?
So like with steel, if there's any issue with like corrosion, you get to see it.
Yes.
So which can be treated
immediately.
As against to your concrete structure, which would probably start from like the foundation or external cracks. With this, we can't have any cracks.
Yes.
You don't have any wall falling off. You don't have anything breaking off.
Yes.
Do you understand?
So it's just one structure standing.
Is built to last. Unless you intentionally cause damage, it's built to last.
Okay. So in other words, it will last as long as time takes.
As long as it's maintained. Do you understand? So if you see any issues like corrosion would always happen. Do you understand? Over time, you have paint wearing off.
Yes, of course. That will always happen.
So it's just for you to repaint it and ensure
that it
is maintained
properly, and then everything is fine.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the interior of these structures. Like inside here now doesn't look like anything that you think of when you see the structure from outside. Yeah. So what's going on inside here? Just give us a brief.
So it's a warehouse style fashion house.
Okay, this is a fashion house.
Yeah. So if you see from the exterior, it looks like a warehouse.
Yes, it does.
But when you come in, this is not what you would see in a typical warehouse.
Exactly.
So the client wanted us to build it to look like a barn, basically, and then we came up with this design for her. She's going to have clothes displayed around, hence the skylights. So during the day like this, you don't need to turn on the lights. It's bright enough.
Yes.
Do you understand? When it gets dark, you turn on the light, in which you're saving energy.
Yes.
So when you were asking me how sustainable it is, we're saving energy right now by having the skylights installed.
Brilliant.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, which is very eco-friendly.
Because that was what I was going to ask you, that why the... Okay.
Why the skylight?
Why the skylight there?
Exactly.
Okay, so during the day, you don't need lights inside the place. You just turn it on. Okay. Then what about the walls?
So we use plasterboard.
Plasterboard.
For interior walls.
Okay.
Yes, so we spray the plasterboard and then we paint. But in between that, there's electrical work that's been done already all over.
Okay, before
the board comes up.
Oh, what did you call this board?
Plasterboard.
Plasterboard.
Yeah.
Okay, when I came in here, one of the things I asked you was, these plasterboards, will you use something like this for, maybe if the place is like a bar or a restaurant or something,
yes, so
will you use plasterboard?
There are different types of boards, there are different grades depending on the use of the space.
Okay.
So if we're creating a toilet, for instance, we don't use plasterboard.
Okay.
We use cement board.
Cement board.
Yes.
That's more durable.
It's water resistant.
Water resistant.
So like I said, depending on what you want to use the space for. So we use cement board for places like toilets, bars, anywhere that there's a lot of activity and you need it to be like very strong.
Yes.
But cement board costs more than plasterboard.
Okay.
So like I said, depending on the client's budget as well. So we would use cement board in that case.
Okay, so because I know I also asked you that, what if people come in here, will they be able to touch the wall easily, knowing that the plasterboard is not as durable as the cement board you just mentioned?
It's not as durable as cement board. It's not as durable as concrete.
Yes.
But this is not a space where you have kids playing around.
Exactly, that was what you said.
Like I said, if you cause damage, it's intentional.
Yes.
So you can rest on it, nothing's going to happen. But if you use something like a hammer to hit
it, of course. Even the concrete one will give up in that case.
Exactly. It will obviously cause a dent.
Oh, okay.
On the wall.
Yeah, I see. Then what about the floor here?
It's tiles.
This is regular tiles?
Yes. Wood finish tiles.
Wood finish tiles.
But this is SPC wooden floor.
Okay.
So this is different from that one.
Yes. So that one is more durable than this, obviously.
No. Why do you think it's more durable?
Because I think I feel some. Oh, okay. I think because there is a.
So we're standing on a deck right now.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Then in a structure like this, how do you put something like a toilet?
So with the plasterboard, it's just for you to create a partition wall for that, and all the plumbing is done at the same time. So it's really not hard. We can literally create another room here. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's all about just creating the partition walls and putting it up.
So what about like the WC? How do you mount them?
So the piping is done prior to setting all of this up.
All of this up?
Do you understand?
It's done before. That's when you do the sheets outside.
The process of doing our steel and everything, that's when we put our plumbing pipes.
Okay.
However, you can set this up and still put the plumbing pipes later. It's just for you to create the space, create the hole where you want to slot your pipes in.
Okay, then you have the regular septic tank outside.
Yes.
Like you have in a regular. Now let's go to the biggest part of the day that I think a lot of people will be interested in. First of all, generally, building something like this and building building it with blocks, is this more expensive? Let's assume that. Let me clear it a little bit. Let's assume we are building this exact structure like this.
Let me put it to you like this.
Exactly.
The finishing you use determines the total cost.
Finishing.
Yes. So now, if I use tiles here, it would cost cheaper than using these SPC wooden floors.
Okay.
It just depends on the client's budget.
Right.
Now, building with shipping containers used to be a cheaper alternative, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
They're no longer cheaper. Building with steel, if you want to build a steel warehouse, you know how much that would cost you. You wouldn't put all of these fancy things inside the warehouse. Do you understand?
Of course.
So that's what I'm saying. It's relative. All our jobs are custom built.
Okay.
So we'll build something.
Built to the client's budget.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
And that's if the budget works. The budget has to work as well.
Okay. Generally, what is in an open? Generally, what's the cheapest? How many million naira should I have for me to build even something that is reasonable?
Let's say you want to use a 20-foot container to build like a studio apartment. You still have like 7 million to starting 7 million.
Starting?
Yes.
So what does this starting include? What does it cover?
Starting, you should be able to afford 7 million. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just to start something basic. No external cladding, no roofing, just barest minimum.
That doesn't sound friendly.
That's why I said it depends on the client. It's not for everybody.
Nice.
That's the honest truth. It's not for everyone. It's not a cheaper. People think, like I said, it used to be cheaper when we used to buy shipping containers for 500K. But now you're buying one 40-foot container for 1.9. You're buying a 20-foot container for 1.3 to 1.4.
Wow.
Depending on how neat it is. Again.
How neat it is. Okay. Then you guys will now work on it. And
yes, and because all the materials we use, they're imported. So it's not like they're made in Nigeria. So if they were made in Nigeria, it would be cheaper for us to build.
Okay.
But we're importing these materials, and then market forces and dollar
fluctuation
makes the cost of these materials fluctuate.
Okay, so at basic bare minimum right now, like 7 million can scratch the surface.
Exactly.
When you say can start, are you saying it can build something reasonable? It can just start in buying the container and putting one or two things together. I need to understand that.
Like I said, a mini apartment, 7 million would get you there.
That's to build it.
Yes.
Oh. Then we've not talked about the land that the thing will stay on.
Exactly. So you need to have the land. That's why I said it's not for everyone. That's what people need to understand. That I wish it was for everybody, but the reality is it's not.
If a regular builder wants to build, like if an architect, a construction engineer that builds with regular blocks wants to build, they usually have things like what's it called? They do drawings and they do structural drawings. And do you guys do the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same process. So before you start any project, you need to have a drawing of what you want to build.
Oh, really?
It needs to go through approval.
Yeah. So I thought these were steels and all. You could just
no, you still have to get approval.
You could just pull up and then rig it up together.
You still have to.
And then you are going to use that same architect, that drawing, and then interpret it.
Exactly. So the drawing is for us and also for the
client. Okay.
So the drawing has to fit what the client wants. So the drawing is an agreement between I and the client on what their structure is going to
look like, of course.
So we're not going to give them anything less. So it has to be exactly what's in the drawing that we then interpret into this.
Oh, okay. Now, the question I also asked you before we turned on the camera was one of the questions I've had in mind for a long time. Since you guys would draw and everything, can the client give you a regular looking structure, like probably built with concrete, and say, I want this to be made out of steel?
Yes.
Can you guys get it done?
Yes.
You have rooms, toilets, sitting rooms, and all of that.
Like I said, plasterboard. The work of plasterboard is we create partitions. So it's not like the same way you would use cement blocks to create a partition wall. Instead of using cement blocks, we use plasterboard and aluminium profiles. So that's what we use to create rooms.
Okay.
So it's just the same way as using blocks. Do you understand? We create partition walls with plasterboard and aluminium profiles.
So in other words, we can have a 1-bedroom duplex completely made out of steel.
See what you're looking at.
A 5-bedroom duplex, rather.
Exactly. What you're looking at here is basically a loft. You can have a bedroom up here, and you can set up a living room.
Yeah, just like offices.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can have an office.
Partition it the way you want.
You can have a factory office up here, and then you have
machines down there.
So it's just the type of furnishing you use in the space that determines what that space is.
That determines what the space is. Okay, that makes sense, because if you look at companies like Julius Berger, when they are building, normally it's just a big skeleton that stands. Then later on, they now start partitioning them into different rooms and all of that. Okay, so now for this very style now, I'm not asking you to tell me the amount that it costs. What do you, estimatedly, how much do you guys think by the end of this project that you might go into it?
I want to build exactly this.
Yeah.
Between 60 to 70 M.
60 to 70 million?
Yeah.
That's a 2-bedroom apartment around Ajah area.
Yeah, but this is bigger.
Yeah, super.
This is way bigger.
Way
You
bigger.
know how many apartments you fit within this space?
That's way bigger. It's
Do you
true.
understand? It's way bigger. The height is bigger.
Yeah. I mean, look at where we are now. We're even on we're standing on top of the decking. We're not even standing on the floor. Okay.
So it's way bigger.
Wow. Bro.
And like I said, the features that it's coming with. You understand? You have plasterboard on the ceiling. You have plasterboard on the wall.
Whoa.
You have insulation as well. So we can't do without insulation. I'll send you pictures so you show your viewers the process of insulating this entire space.
Okay.
And insulation is not cheap. That's
No, that at least that I have an idea of that because I have built a studio. I have my own studio, so we've done all those things. So I understand that part of it can be expensive, and then so I can imagine that's for a room. So I can imagine what an entire warehouse like this is going to look like.
yeah, and like I said as well, the client specification. All jobs are custom built. We built this for 70 million, 60 to 70 million. Doesn't mean we can't build this for less.
Yeah, the finishing.
Depending on what you want to use this space for.
Okay.
If I'm building a warehouse, we're not going to have
all this high.
Exactly. No, it will be high, but you won't have plasterboard in it.
Okay, it's just going to be the structure,
Steel structure.
bare steel structure.
Exactly.
Okay, with no light and all these
You might
special
still have the
effects.
skylights, but it's not going to look as
That's
well done as this.
pushed as this one. Wow, bro, you guys are amazing.
Thank you very much.